we propose that engagement teams need to make it a priority to make friends with whoever owns the digital channels in their organisation. Most organisations are active on social media. They're probably tracking things like likes, shares, engagement rates. But if I was to ask you if that's truly contributing something to your engagement strategy, would you be able to answer that question with confidence? In our experience, a lot of engagement teams are a step removed from the digital channels. And for us, that just doesn't work when it comes to having an effective engagement strategy. So a really common pattern we see in the public sector in particular is that the digital channels are managed by communications or marketing, and that makes sense, but we believe that engagement really needs a seat at that table, because when you look at the kind of information that those digital channels are then evaluated on, so things like reach, impressions, engagement rate, it doesn't quite get to the nub of what engagement teams need to track and deliver. And this isn't about a blame situation. It's just calling out a pattern of a structure that we see in organisations that we think needs to change. Because if you think about what social media is, the clue is in the word social. It's about having dialogue and interaction with people. And at the heart of that, that's an engagement tool. So the problem with standard metrics, a like can take less than a second. A share can take less than a second. And what it doesn't say is whether that person is willing to give you insight, has given you feedback, whether you are building trust with that particular person over a longer period of time. And that's the stuff that the engagement team really want to get to the bottom of. And most teams don't realise that they could build a much richer scorecard when it comes to evaluating their digital channels. At Open Voice Lab, we would really love to see more organisations moving beyond simply using social as a broadcast channel. And it's about often communications and engagement working together to really think about what that content plan looks like and how you can use the different features on platforms too. It's also important to remember that your digital footprint doesn't start and end with the channels that you manage. So communities are already talking about you and your services online, and sometimes it's about just tapping into those conversations to hear, to listen, to learn. And I like to think of it as the equivalent of being sat out in a community centre or a cafe in town. The amount of conversation you hear that is so useful, where you learn people's real experiences, it's not something to be underestimated. It's the kind of intelligence that a survey or a workshop simply won't tell you, because the kind of people who get involved with those are much more confident in getting involved in formal processes. And it's also important to think about the fact that not every digital channel deserves your attention and energy. We also know that some channels are more actively problematic, but that's a conversation for another day. So at Open Voice Lab, we think digital channels are one of the most underused assets for engagement, not because organisations don't have them, but because they're not often run or developed with true engagement in mind. So our little piece of advice for any engagement professional would be to make the effort to make friends with whoever runs your digital channels. Get that seat at the table and start to influence the strategy. And if you'd like to take a fresh look at what your digital channels are delivering for you from an engagement or communications perspective, we can certainly help with that. We can help you audit your current channels, see what they're really delivering for you in terms of your engagement strategy, and help you understand where it is you can do that rich listening online. Your digital channels should truly help you listen, build relationships, and gather insight. They shouldn't just sit there as a broadcast channel when you've got a survey to run.